I made a simple patch with one of the stock samples in Phase Plant. It's from the Simple Sound folder. It's one of the keys, and I just made an ambient patch with it, and I'm gonna show it to you because there's a trick I used in this patch that I think might be worth showing even if it's not that new. The bass is very simple, it's just a Rhodes sample. I have unison on using the harmonics mode, and I am putting an envelope on the blend, so the unison is only present during the transient. If I take the blend all the way up and turn the envelope off so we have the unison on the whole time, it sounds like this. So it's a lot brighter. I just wanted something darker for this sound, so I'm gonna keep the envelope on and all that. You could add a bit of spread. I didn't do that, but it's definitely something you could do. Add some stereo width. Then I have some filtering going on, so I have key track cutoff, high pass and low pass. I only get the frequencies I want. And then I have the sound going out to lane 1 and lane 3. So lane 1 is going into a reverb setup, and that's going into some mixing, and lane 3 is also more mixing. Only other thing in the generator section is noise, and I could probably make that stereo too. It's modulating the level of the Rhodes a bit. Okay, so now we're into the effects, and it's pretty simple. Besides the first lanes, some EQing, take out some unnecessary frequencies, and then tame the dynamics a little bit, nothing special. The first lane is what gives the sound its ambient quality. So what I'm doing is I'm taking pitch shifters and reverbs, and I'm making an effect similar to Valhalla's Shimmer. The short of it is Valhalla's Shimmer has a feedback knob that lets you add in pitch shifted layers of your original sound. So I decided to do that here without going into Valhalla's Shimmer. So I have a pitch shifter up an octave, then some chorus, and then I'm putting it into a reverb, and the mix is all the way up. Then I'm putting it into another pitch shifter. This time the mix is only on 50%, and then another reverb, pitch shifter again, mix is at 20%. So the mix levels are getting continuously lower because I wanted the higher duplicates to be lower in volume. There's one last reverb, and the thing that I would recommend trying is experimenting with the shift values. In Valhalla Shimmer, the shift value is fixed. All the pitch shifted layers are shifted up by a set amount. But with Phase Plant, if you do this, you can set it to anything and get some possibly weird results. Especially if they're not whole numbers. This would be a lot better for weird sound design, I bet, but you could see how that sounds. And that brings me to just one last point about the routing. I have the sound going into lane 1 and lane 3. So the input going into lane 1 is for the wet signal. The input going into lane 1 is for the wet signal, i.e. the reverb, and the signal going into lane 3 is for the dry signal. So that way I get to process the sound separately and instead of having to kind of balance it all in one lane, which is one thing I really like about Phase Plant. It lets you do that. If I wanted, I could have done this whole thing in Snap Heap inside of Phase Plant, and that would have been just as good.